10-Minute Murder contains depictions of actual crimes. What you are about to hear is real and violent in nature. Discretion is advised. This is 10-Minute Murder.
Welcome to 10-Minute Murder, the brief and bingeable true crime podcast. I'm Joe, the host, and thank you for being here. Now, I mentioned this on social media a couple days ago, but I wanted to say it here as well, and that's a huge thank you to you. 10-Minute Murder recently passed the 1 million downloads mark in 2021, and if you're listening to this right now, you're a part of that. And I just want to recognize that this show would not be a show if it weren't for you. It'd just be me sitting in a quiet room reading about these true crime stories by myself. And 10-Minute Murder continues to grow and grow quickly, and that's because of your support. And by the way, let me also mention that this little weird true crime community is maybe the nicest bunch of people I've ever encountered. The subject matter we discuss here is so dark and disturbing that I think you all are kind of compensating the other way. Nearly every interaction I've had, you've all been so friendly and just awesome. It's like if Chick-fil-A contacted me about something. That's the level of niceness I'm talking about. Now, let's not ruin it with an email from a fart face. Let's just keep it positive and upbeat. So 1 million downloads so far in 2021, and hopefully a million more soon. Before we get started with the story today, this is your reminder to subscribe to 10-Minute Murder. Connect on social media, links are in the show notes, and tell your true crime-loving friends about the show. You can send story ideas to me by emailing them 10minutemurder@gmail.com. Or if you're connected with 10-Minute Murder on social media, you can do it there as well. Today, we're talking about a killer that was clearly not okay mentally. He doesn't have electricity at every floor. Maybe because of that, he killed his pregnant girlfriend and led police on a high-speed chase while dangling the baby he removed from her out of his car window. In his own words, you'll hear why he did it and why he said she understood she had to die. Unfortunately, there isn't a lot of backstory available for Manuel Vila for us to try to put the pieces together and figure out what caused him to do what he did. What we do know is that Manuel was 28 years old. He had prior convictions for misdemeanor abuse and battery from 2009 and 2012. His girlfriend, 30-year-old Katrina Rivera, was 39 weeks pregnant with the couple's baby. On December 8, 2016, Katrina was reported as missing. Katrina's child saw her get into Manuel's car later that day, a 2000 Hyundai Elantra in Bakersfield, California. Manuel later said that it was that same day that she was reported missing that he strangled pregnant Katrina to death. They were arguing about kids and going to the store for cigarettes. She told him that day that she did not want to be with him anymore. Manuel choked her for about 5 minutes, he said, until she wasn't struggling and he knew that she was dead. He put her body into the back of his car and drove around, eventually stopping on Edison Highway. When he stopped, he went to Katrina's body and used a razor blade to cut the baby out of her body. 2 days later, Manuel was spotted by police in his car and he led them on a chase. During that chase, he dangled the dead baby outside of the driver's side window. A California Highway Patrol officer tossed out a spike strip in front of Manuel's car, attempting to blow out the tires. Vila swerved to both hit the officer and avoid the spike strip and was thankfully unsuccessful at both of those attempts. With 2 flat tires, he pulled over near East Bakersfield High School. He got out and began walking away. And he wasn't just casually strolling, though. He used the dead baby as a shield from police in case they tried to shoot at him. They didn't know that the child was already dead. Police ran toward him, screaming for him to stop, but he didn't. And I guess thinking that the baby was slowing him down, Manuel threw the baby into a nearby gutter and ran. Using a canine, they were able to catch him and take him into custody, despite him kicking and punching the officers as they placed the cuffs on him. The baby was given CPR and rushed to a nearby hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The doctor said that he believed that the baby actually survived being cut out of its mother and was probably alive at some point that very day. Katrina's body was found where Manuel left it, in the back seat of his Hyundai. In case you're wondering what kind of deranged human being would do something like this and why, Here's Manuel to explain it in his own words.
Did you cut the baby out of her?
Yes, I did.
Why?
Prove a point to religion.
Isn't it your baby?
It's our baby. Yes.
So what point were you proving?
First and foremost, to defy every religion-based political, to defy every law of any God creation of a book. You understand? Yeah.
So did you think what you were doing was the right thing, or did you realize it was going to kill her?
Well, we quite, as a team, from extraterrestrial to religion to science, understand the voyage of telepathy and somewhat of higher power vested in us as a team, me and Katrina Rivera. So I understood, yes, that I was gonna kill her. She understood that she had to die.
And she was okay with that?
Well, she accepted it, yes.
So was the baby alive at first?
No. Kept a little hour, 6 hours to myself, just with her dead in the back seat. Side of the road, somewhere. Over on Cottonwood. And just had a time to reflect what me and my father had, been sent here to do. And that's where I cut her open, when he told me to.
Who told you to?
The father. It's just the same one who was to communicate with Jesus Christ is when he was here.
So, do you think that you're possessed by the devil?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm the Antichrist. I'm capable of taking severe business of any God that ever said the Creator was here to defy law of anything that I ever said, that I was Adam from the first, to understand the flesh of pleasure. That's a definition of to fulfill something nobody else ever will ever compare to.
So do you feel bad that your girlfriend and your baby are dead?
I take it easy on her, so no. I have remorse of not, but I don't feel bad.
How did you get your instructions, and what instructions did you get?
Excuse. Oh, right. When I was 7, that's when it's just put in effect. Yeah, I lied. Mm-hmm.
And through all that time, you'd hear these voices over and over again?
Well, he took it and said, go left, and I had to go right. And he's in an Asian spaceship or something.
So you already...
So I had to learn every process of how he really had to communicate. He said, go right, and I go left.
Got it. So you did pretty much opposite of that. In the process of going through this, how did you kill your girlfriend and the baby? And what instructions did you get in order to do that?
He said, defy me, do what you do, and just do it the right way.
What was that way? What did you come up with? What was your way to do this?
Oh, he said just do it as you were alone in the garden.
And did you use any instruments, tools? Did you use your hands?
Yeah, he gave me instructions of a razor blade that he provided me in the garden when no one else was there.
An X-Acto knife, or was it a utility knife?
Just about a razor blade then.
And you did all of this with the razor blade? You did the C-section with the razor blade?
Yes.
Does this cause you stress through all this process of being arrested, killing your girlfriend, killing the baby? And talk to me about how you feel right now. Do you think that you've done exactly what you were told to do? Clear that up for me.
Well, we fulfilled a pretty magnificent creation, at the same fact. Yes, it says very excited for the next process of experience as I would imagine to tell you nothing will ever be the same. Yes.
Yeah.
Manuel Vila was charged with 2 counts of murder for killing Katrina and his baby boy. On January 9th, 2017, he was found dead in his cell he hanged himself. Jail staff attempted CPR, but he was pronounced dead a short time later. That's today's 10-Minute Murder, the brief and bingeable true crime podcast. Thanks for listening today, and if you have a story you'd like for me to cover, email it to me, 10minutemurder@gmail.com. Connect with me on social media. That's where I post visuals to some of the episodes that we talk about here on the podcast. I avoid the bloody crime scene pictures because I don't want to see that myself. I don't need nightmare fuel. And I'm sure that if you're into that kind of thing, you can Google it yourself and find all of it. But what I mainly post are pictures of what the killer looks like, sometimes the victims and locations, if that's part of the story. I'll leave links to where you can find 10 Minute Murder on social media in the show notes of this episode. Or just as easily, you can do a quick search in Facebook or Instagram and find 10 Minute Murder. Lastly, if you're an Apple Podcast user, be sure to rate and review 5 stars. Doing that helps this show grow and reach more and more people. And I recently got a review that was 5 stars, and it was just lines to the movie 10 Things I Hate About You. And at first I was like, what the heck? But then I realized it was a good thing. It had me worried for a minute, but I appreciate it. Thanks for listening to 10 Minute Murder. Have a good night.
10 minute murder. 10 minute murder.